Good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang in California with Morsels of a Thought number 1830 in California. It is early in the morning. It's about 6:10, and I have been coming here every day to bring you morsels of a thought of what I hope are. Here, I'm shaking my head so the sound goes in and out. I am bringing you what I hope are morsels of a thought of wisdom, wisdom from other people. Since I'm not very wise, I'm reading to you what these wise people have to say through their life experiences. Today, we're reading from Allyson Chavez, The Prosperity Approach, a simple formula to ultimate prosperity. The simple formula to ultimate prosperity. We get to hear what other people say through their life experiences, so we don't have to go through those experiences before knowing what the right things to do are. So we're getting synopses of other people's lives and what they found would be right for them to do. Knowing the right thing to do is wisdom. Doing it is virtue. I want to inspire you to do something virtuous today. Just as there are simple ways to open ourselves to receiving, there are also simple ways we use to block ourselves from receiving. It's important to list what some of those are so you can be aware when you're blocking, and then quickly counteract that with one of the above exercises that we read last week to open yourself back up to receiving. How to block yourself from receiving? We want to know what not to do. Number one, fear. Concentrating on fear or the anticipation of pain quickly shuts us down to possibilities and prosperity. Fear can quickly consume us. When that happens, we say goodbye to receiving what you want. It will shut you down faster than anything else but doubt. Doubt. There's number two. Number three is bad, grumpy moods. Number four is being easily offended. Number five is holding grudges. This absorbs so much time and attention and literally blocks you from receiving more goodness and prosperity. That's why forgiveness has nothing to do with the other person and everything to do with you and your ability to move forward into greater prosperity. Number six, overreacting. Number seven, being, quote, in your head, end quote. If you're spinning in your head and listening to the mindless chatter that goes on all day, you don't have any room to receive guidance or anything that will assist you in moving forward. Number eight, not recognizing the blessings that already exist in your life, even during the hard times. Now, I'm going to stop here for a moment to review a few things. There are people who have so many blessings and don't even know it. For example, I know of a technical writer who is very, very wealthy, but lives at home, doesn't need to pay for the apartment or a home, and she is very, very unappreciative. So, what do we say she has? Well, we can say all the things she has and realize that we have the same things. Well, anyway. Number nine, complaining, eye rolling, backbiting. Ooh. Number 10, apathy. Number 11, being judgmental of yourself or others. Number 12, complaining about your situation. This blinds you to the blessings that are literally found in your situation and cultivates a sense of entitlement. Number 13, indifference toward your higher power. In other words, you're taking God for granted. Many times, this blocks the light that surrounds us and shuts us down to higher levels of inspiration. Number 14, ignoring the good that's already there. This looks a lot like, yeah, but dot, dot, dot. Have you ever said that to someone who wants you to look on the bright side, or had someone say that to you when you were trying to help them? It immediately blocks you from receiving. Number 15, hurry, worry, or rushing. Number 15, hurry, worry, or rushing. If we're too busy and filled with worry, there is no room for us to receive good. We're already filled up. 16, skepticism. Have you ever tried to explain something to someone and you could tell they didn't want to believe you? When we have the attitude of, make me believe, it's a sure shot that we won't believe and we won't receive. In what ways do you block yourself from receiving? Again, it's important to know how you block yourself so you can catch yourself when you do it and then open yourself to receiving. List ways you block and stay away from judging yourself on this. So they give you a few spaces to write it down. So, after you've done so, now that we've shed the light on ways to open yourself and block yourself from receiving, it's time to dive into how. How do you receive prosperity in all its forms on a consistent basis? How to receive. Let go of negative emotions. This must be done first before you can receive or experience prosperity. Has someone tried to cheer you up before, but you didn't really want to be cheered up? Be honest. Of course, this has happened to you. Cheering up didn't happen, did it? It didn't let you go. It didn't until you let go of the negative emotions first. Ask. This is a very important part of receiving, especially in regard to staying consistently connected with God. Capital G. Infinite intelligence, capital I, wants you to ask for help. He wants you to ask for the prosperity you want. He wants to be your partner or co creator in the prosperity story of your life. Ask Him, capital H, to help you stay open to receiving. You will be delighted at the way God assists you in your desires. Now, I want to say that it is okay not necessarily to believe in the same Christian God that this person enjoys. Uh, she enjoys God. She has God. Um, the higher power we all have, if you recognize there is such a thing, you can use a book like this one to see how you can use it, make use of your higher power. Your higher power can bring you a lot of good. So here, especially when you have acts of virtue, the closer you, the more acts of virtue you do, or the more virtue you have, the higher power, the more the higher power will come to you. Believe. This is the author's words now. Believe. As important as it is to ask, we must believe that He, capital H, will help us receive that prosperity we want. Now, you just take that and use it to your higher power and say, we must believe that your higher power will help you receive the prosperity that you want. Remember, these are Allyson Chavez says, remember, skepticism shuts us down to receiving more good in life. So believing that you will receive is a critical piece to receiving. It's also admittedly one of the most difficult things to do, especially if your world feels like it's crumbling around you and all evidence is pointing to disaster, that things will never get better. But by law, things have to get better. You'll see why in a later chapter when we discuss the fascinating and exciting universal laws of creation. No matter what is going on, you always have the choice to believe. I learned this from one of my mentors. When I have a choice, I choose to believe. Now, we are reading from Allyson Chavez, the Prosperity Approach, the simple guide the simple formula to ultimate prosperity. Know what it is you want. You can't have okay, what we're doing right now is we are reading from books of wisdom to get some wisdom for ourselves to use to see if we can gain some virtue. And once we gain some virtue, we start to get a lot of different things happening in our lives. Believe it or not, it's really true. The science is beginning to prove it. And we are starting to see that uh, coincidences and synchronicities occur when there's virtue in in your field, your electric field, your magnetic and electric field is all around you. And some people would call it the aura, AURA. It's a field. There are people who have different color fields, and there are other people who are have sensitivities that allow them to view the other people's fields. So if you have an orange field and it's around you and it's circular and people can walk through it, it would feel good to walk through it. Do you ever walk next to somebody and get close to them and you have this horrible feeling of nausea come over you? That's the opposite, but it can happen. It's this negative energy or positive energy in your electric field. And this is exactly what energy is. Qigong is exactly energy work. Everybody has a culture of some kind of energy work, including God. God is all energy. Know what it is you want. You can't have a general idea of what you want. Okay, this is the author speaking. The author, Allyson Chavez speaking. Know what it is you want. You can't have a general idea of what you want and expect to get specific results. You must know what it is you want so you can be clear in the asking. Now, I know JJVR, VILLAR. You've probably seen, you can see his videos on YouTube. JJVILLAR. He is a dancer for Michael Jackson. Well, he never did dance with Michael Jackson. And he told us once, he said that instead of asking for God to let me dance for Michael Jackson, I should have asked God to ask me to dance with Michael Jackson. So you got to be specific. Everybody laughed so hard. Wallace Wattles, Wattles, says, if you send out vague longings, you'll get vague results. Also, if you don't know what it is you want, you won't know if it's come or not. If you'll sit down quietly and really think about it, you'll know exactly what it is you want. Most of us cloud over what we want because we're afraid to be disappointed if it doesn't come. Have a soft, open heart. Now, I know people who have soft hearts and they are empathetic, empathetic to people. So when other people feel bad, they actually feel the same emotions, and that is having a soft, open heart. To me, Allyson Chavez, having a soft and open heart looks like being a student at all times and finding the beautiful lessons that exist in every experience. It's looking for the nuggets of inspiration in every class you take, both spiritual and secular, that help you move forward instead of expecting to be blown away by new information all the time. It's a willingness to be taught and a willingness to be wrong. Prayer or meditation. Praying and meditating correctly requires time to be able to move out of the chatter of your mind and connect to the quietness in your heart. Create a space to receive direction through prayer by praying before you're ready to pass out from exhaustion. This is how I often pray. I picture what I want in my mind to feel what it would be like to experience it, and with that thought in mind, go to God in prayer and ask if I can have it. This is so effective because I'm using my imagination in the way God intended me to create the life I desire. Instead of picturing and feeling the disaster waiting to happen and begging God to help me avoid it, I picture the situation I want to have and use my imagination to serve me, asking for heaven's help to bring this or something even better to me. It's a powerful way to pray. Try it sometime. Keep the commandments. Whether you believe in the Bible or not, obeying the 10 Commandments, capital T, capital C, is a wonderful way to bring peace, happiness, and prosperity into your life. God has also created a number of laws outside of scriptural ones that lead to prosperity. In fact, in my years of research, I've found over 21 universal laws of creation and 4 mental laws that have been enormously helpful in creating prosperity in my life. Those will be discussed in detail in later chapters. The reason why it's so important to keep all the commandments and universal laws is that God has set up his rewards system, quote unquote, based on obedience to these laws. Alignment is my word for it too. That's how God can be an impersonal, unchangeable God who doesn't play favorites. You obey the law and you get the blessing. You don't obey the law, you don't get the blessing. Simple as that. I think that's the whole thing. The book doesn't end here. You would think. Pay attention. That's what the words are. I explained that now when someone asks me why I cry so often, I say, quote, for the same reason I laugh so often, it's because I'm paying attention, end quote. That's by Glencan Doyle Menton. Glencon, Doyle, Doyle, Melton, Melton. How many times have you checked out in your mind and then someone says something funny and you missed it? I've done that more times than I can count. In order to experience or receive, you must pay attention. There was a time I was taking a physics lecture, of course, and I was not getting it. I eventually passed out of that class, but I was sleeping in the lecture hall. And the lecture hall was this place that had the podium was down below. All the students were all the way up, so every single person could see the professor. And the professor could also see every single one of us, our upper bodies. Well, I apparently was asleep with my mouth open because I suddenly heard a bunch of little bit of suppressed laughter near me and people looking at me. And I think the professor said, now, if I take this catapult and launch this object into that open mouth there, that person sleeping with the open mouth, and then obviously everybody laughed. Everybody laughed because they saw that I was sleeping. So no, I missed it. It was funny, but I didn't get the joke. I didn't get a chance to laugh with them because I was asleep. So that's what it is. In order to experience or receive, you must pay attention. Be humble and teachable. Now, the key is this is reading wisdom. We're reading wisdom from other people so that we can learn the right things to do for ourselves, and then we can create some magic by taking the action to do what we know is the right thing to do. So we create virtue in the world. Magic action creates virtue, morsels of a thought of wisdom. Harv Eker, Harv, capital Eker, says the most dangerous words in the world are, I know that. I'm sure that many of the things you're reading in this book, you already know. If you find yourself saying, I know that, throughout this book, be aware of that. You only truly know something when you're living it. You might know it intellectually, but unless you're experiencing and living it, you don't really know it. You'll know you're humble and teachable when things you've heard before hit you from a different angle and land deeper. You'll feel them anchor more deeply into your soul than they did before. For years, I resisted taking a course on mastering mindset because I was already teaching how to master mindset. What could I possibly learn about a topic I'd already spent years teaching? I finally broke down and took the course because I couldn't get it out of my mind. That course became the most valuable course I've ever taken. I learned things that I'd never even considered before, and it opened up my world in ways I'd never imagined. Powerful, magical things happen when you're humble and teachable about everything. Now it's your turn again. Here we are. Let's list some of the how-tos. Oh, excuse me. List some of the hows to receiving. What have you done in the past to open yourself up to receiving prosperity? This is her life experience, and she's teaching us what she learned. We've discussed the two secrets in the prosperity approach formula. Now, let's dive into the three pillars that assist us in connecting and receiving. So, energetic, chapter 3, the first pillar of prosperity. Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Einstein said, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. It really is. Quantum physics has proven that the essence of absolutely everything in this universe is energy. Everything is energy. Break it down small enough and you'll find that the physical makeup of everything on this planet, animate or inanimate, is energy. I am energy and you are energy, and everything vibrates at a specific frequency. The life you desire has its own specific frequency, just as the life you're currently living has a specific frequency. We live in a universe that is based on energetic attraction. We attract us we attract to us people, events, and circumstances that match our inner energetic frequency. That's why you get along so well with your friends and oftentimes have the same kind of experiences in life. You're on the same frequency. It makes no difference if we like the circumstances we're in. On the level of frequency, we're a match. James Allen, Allen, wrote a wonderful book in the early 1900s called As a Man Thinketh. He said in that book, the outer conditions of a man's life will always be found to be harmoniously related to his inner state, both that which he wants. Both that which he wants and that which he secretly fears. Men do not attract that which they want, but that which they are. Interesting. So we're going to go to page 43 next week in Energetic, the first pillar of prosperity. This is chapter 3 in the prosperity approach, a simple formula to ultimate prosperity by Allyson Chavez, a #1 bestseller. And here we go. I'm going to show you her autograph. It is so cool. This is, there we go. That's her beautiful signature. Yep. All right. I'll talk to you later. Take care. And old Kinderhook.